Alright, welcome back to the Legendary Action Podcast. I know it's been a minute since I've been on YouTube to do a podcast, but SoundCloud has been tripping. I'm no longer going to subscribe to using it. So you're getting the YouTube version, you're getting the visuals, alright? So for me to introduce my guest, alright? So who I have with me is Andre. I've known him for since 7th grade, right? 7th grade?
Yes.
Yeah, 7th grade.
7th grade.
And been best friends ever since. And it's only right. I know I always said we was going to do a podcast, and you over here, let's do a podcast. I did one last week. So it's only right that we, do the damn thing. And
might as well get one started, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So pretty much, I mean, we don't have anything on the docket or anything like that. We're just going to have a conversation and talk about whatever, you know what I'm saying? So just bear with us throughout the whole process. So, yeah.
Damn. I'm really on the podcast, man. The Legendary Action Podcast. But, damn, yeah. So, I actually have a question for you, bro.
Sure.
What happened to, what type of music are you listening? Like, what happened to your, like, transition in listening, like, what you listen to music-wise? Like, because now you started listening to a lot more, like R&B, soul. Oh, it's like a combination of R&B, soul, old school, even some like international type. It sounds like. What made you like dive into that? Because it used to be more hip hop, rap. You know what I'm saying? And like so now, like as you become your grown man shit, it seems like you've been on something different. Like, what kind of got you to that transition?
Well, I'll say it like this: like growing up, all I did was listen to like Lil Wayne, Eminem, and then like other rappers in general. I didn't really, on my own, listen to like R&B, soul, any of that kind of thing, and I wasn't introduced to a lot of different tunes, voices, and whatnot. So, just like I'll say, it kind of started when I started listening to like certain instruments. I have like on my Pandora, I used to listen to like just nothing but pianos or nothing but violins and stuff, and then that kind of geared me in that direction to start listening to more of R&B and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't listen to a lot of like women's music. As far as like, I mean, my parents, they did listen to that, but it's like I didn't do that in reach and find out for myself, because I only just like listen to stuff that would get me hyped, with like as far as like going to work out or go playing basketball and stuff like that. And now it's just like complete opposite. And it's hard to find a good rap album, to me personally, that is like that'll last. It's like I get a couple listens to it and then that's it. And so yeah, and that's what I just recently, like sometime last year, I started just making a list, like actually making playlists. So I never did that before, where I just make playlists. So now I'm making playlists. I got one called The Queens of Music, and this is just like women that I think that have like a beautiful voice, and I just every time I hear something, I just add it to it. And I got a dance one as well. It's usually like
because this nigga tries to dance, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a lot of international music in there where I was like, this is a good vibe to dance to and whatnot. And so I got that one, and then I'm trying to get another one where it's a men's type of thing where they have like a nice voice. I know like there's a couple of times where I went on Instagram, asking people like, what's some good men with some good voices, you know what I'm saying? Because when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, there's some good voices, but nothing just like, like so I need to still work on that one.
Something that's still like that's powerful, something different type of makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting, because I know as I got older, I didn't until recently, probably about 2 years ago maybe, start listening to more like real R&B soul type stuff. And I started listening to more female artists, and I actually did that because of this stuff I was going through in my life. And felt like I needed to understand women. If you really listen to women's music, I feel like it helps you understand a whole different perspective, the way they kind of articulate their side of it. Because I'm always, talking about. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't. My bad, viewers. But you don't hear bitches and hoes, blah blah blah, with female, and it's you can relate to that. You know what I mean? But like, not and never really understanding the other side of it from a relationship standpoint. I feel like for example, SZA. I'm a big fan of her. What's her newest album she just came out with?
Control?
Yeah, Control. That album, top to bottom, was amazing. Top to bottom. Like, it's like I can't even just play individual songs. Like, I just listen to the whole thing through. So it's cool. It's cool that you just said the same thing with rap. Like, as of late, I haven't been able to find a good rap album from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even now, like, I've been trying. I work with kids a lot, so they're younger. I've been trying to really listen to like the younger guys coming up. You know what I mean? I've been trying. It's hard, bro. I know it's hard. It's a completely different sound, but they're talking about damn near the same stuff. It just sounds different. It's like it's kind of their generation. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm in between that for myself, what I'm listening to, like, because it's more about artists for me. It's like, okay, like I have certain artists I like. I only listen to really them.
Right.
I'm not really going to expand out, but, I like Roddy Ricch a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Roddy Ricch is solid. I can't really get into DaBaby. He's hot right now, but I can't really get into that. So it forced me to also have to, all right, I got to find something else to listen to. Because Cole ain't came out with nothing. Drake barely came out with anything as of late. Like, Wayne, like, those are the artists that I actually listen to. Even Wayne's, like, new album that came out, Funeral or whatever. I wasn't really...
We grew up 2 albums.
Huh?
I said I ain't listened to the last 2 albums.
Bro, we grew up through. We was young in Wayne's prime, so we remember that type of Wayne. So when you hear it now, it's like it's not that he can't spit. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? He can still spit and all that, but it's not as appealing. It's not as like it doesn't pop the same. Yeah, so it's crazy. I was gonna ask you about that the other day.
Well, the recent rap album that I've been listening to is Royce the 5'9".
Okay.
And I've actually went back to it numerous times. Same with Fabulous's album.
Which one? His most recent one?
Most recent one, yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't not the book of, he has another one that came out, the book of Ryan that came out before that. Okay.
This recent one was pretty solid. Yeah. Fabulous's album too, it came out like October, maybe November time frame.
You talking about the Shootout?
Yeah.
Oh, Summertime Shootout 3? Yeah, that was Fabulous is. Yeah, he's definitely underrated.
Yeah, but I played it out.
You just listen to too much.
Yeah, I just do that to songs where I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Then you play that whole album out, then you start jumping to songs you really like, and then after that, it's like, it makes sense. I know, honestly, man, my favorite artist right now is actually Black, bro. Basically look like 6 Lack, but it's Black, bro. Bro, he has a song for everything, bro. His voice is. You talk about like it's just perfect, smooth. He can rap a little. That shit's solid, bro. You gotta get on Black, bro. All listeners, get on Black. If you're not on Black, you need to hop on Black. This man is the most talented, and he's like our age too.
Yeah.
Most talent. Like, he's one of the most talented guys out. Like 2 albums in, and it's crazy. He's amazing.
I tried. I remember what album it was. I tried listening to it. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Nah.
And then just never went back to it.
Nah, you ain't know this ain't cool. This shit's solid. Like, this song is amazing. It's crazy. It's amazing. So, but
I want to harp on what you said about being basically a grown man by switching up your music and stuff like that. It's just that I feel like just over the time as getting older, we grow up as males, right? As men, and we kind of know what our life is like in general. We could all, not necessarily we can relate on everything, but as men we could relate on some things. And as far as women, we didn't. Well, I guess your case is different because you got kids and whatnot. You got a little girl, but like we don't get taught what women get taught, right? So it's like I'm not saying it's like secluded or something like that. Just that it's obviously you teach differently based on the genders.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like, so we don't get that aspect. So we don't know anything in regards to women growing up as kids, and sometimes even as adults. So that's why I've always found it interesting to, like, say if I work with women. I just want to be able to hear them and understand them because I don't know your story. I don't know your general. So I just try to pull in as much information as I possibly could so I can learn and be a better person for myself.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's just one thing I like to do when I'm at work, just communicate and talk. And that's like basically how I got this medical job because, well, not medical, but I'm wearing the scrubs and shit. And because I just bring this dynamic of a teamwork aspect of it all. Like, I want to be able to help because even like just I had an orientation on Monday, right? And people is asking questions like, "What do you view certain things?" Blah blah blah. It was just a generic kind of orientation, and then my take was on it like as far as I'm gonna be at work for say 7-8 hours a day. I better fucking enjoy being at work. That's 7-8 hours of my day that I have to be there, and I gotta be able to know my people, know my supervisor, know my chain of command, all that kind of stuff, and just be and love them. Honestly, like I want to be able to have that kind of relation with them because I gotta be with them. You might be around them more than your own family, so it's like.
It's crazy just that I don't want to say statistic, but the saying that majority of relationships start at work, and it's because you're there 8 hours a day or however long it is. Like actually, for me, like as a supervisor in my job, I've done that as far as like really get to know my staff, other staff around. I could do a better job of getting to know supervisor staff, like my supervisors, but in order to get the job, like you have to be at work anyway, like you said. You want to enjoy it, right? Like. And it's easy. I work with a lot of younger people, so it's like their mindset is completely different. If they don't enjoy what they're doing, then what is it, Generation Z? If they don't enjoy what they're doing, they're not going to do it, or they're not going to want to. They're going to be lazy, or whatever the case may be. So you really got to be able to like get to know them, get to know their story, and like actually to bring the best out of them. I think that's how you say it's a teamwork thing. You know what I mean? Like if they know that you care, or vice versa, like you'll be able to get the best out of one another. So. I think that is an interesting perspective. And also, like with females, back to what you said about women, I believe that, and this, just my personal opinion, women are taught differently because, first of all, just from a parental standpoint, I have a daughter and I have a son. I can't teach my daughter how to be a woman because I'm not a woman. I've never been, there's things that she's going to go through that I've never been through, I have no experience in. Their mom can't teach my son how to be a man. There's certain things that she's been through, that he's going to go through that she's never experienced, but I have to be able to teach him how to be a man. That makes sense? Like, the roles are different. So it's like, you still raise them, you teach them morals, and all kind of different things. Like, you instill a structure in there, but at some point, there's certain things that I have to teach him, and she has to be able to teach her. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not knocking all, like, there's great single mothers, great single fathers out there.
That's what I'm about to ask you.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm not saying that. Like, because as a single mother or father, like your role is even more important because you technically have to play both. But I feel like in some ways, like regardless, like my parents have been together my whole life, but like even my dad not being around as much as I would have liked to because he's in the military. There's certain things my mom like couldn't tell me or teach me. She just couldn't. She didn't know how. She didn't know or wouldn't know because she's not a man. So like, and then that kind of caused me to constantly always want my dad because as I got older, there was things I was going through. Now I'm learning from my mentors and stuff like that, older people, or just based off experience. There's just certain things that I feel like just women can't necessarily teach men and vice versa. So like the roles and children, like so that's why they are like men and women are like raised differently. They have to be. I used to be like, oh man, like my parents treat my sister different than they treat me. They beat my ass. They're so hard on me, blah blah blah. But they weren't like that toward my sister. I learned how to be able to take that, and it made me stronger and stuff. That they were trying to raise me to be a husband, to be a father, to be all these other things, and like I needed that. Now look at my sister. I'm thinking growing up, she bad as hell. Yeah. She get away with everything. She get her ass whooped, but she still get she won't. She still get this, she still get that. She talking crazy. But I'm like, why don't y'all do the same thing y'all did with me? It's completely different. You know what I'm saying? she not responding the same. Like it's completely different. Like whereas if they would have parented me the way they did her, man, I would have been wow. You know what I'm saying? I would do whatever the hell I wanted to do because I would have felt like I could. Like, but they like I need. So it's just you have to. Even though we were only 3 years apart, grew up in the same household, they had to raise us differently in a way. So I think it's just like it's just gender dynamic. It's just a dynamic that's just different when it comes to men and women. And I think that's why like it's important for men. I mentor a lot of kids, little young boys. I always tell them like, yo, boys gonna do dumb shit. You know, excuse me. Hey, I don't know why I feel like I can't cause they gonna do stupid shit. Like it's just part of it. But like understanding like how to respect women regardless, just to be able to. Because you gotta be able to communicate with them to some extent. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like being able to. I mean, now everything's Instagram, Snapchat. You know, it's hard to even have a conversation sometimes now. Like, even if you look at on a podcast, it's more so like older generations. You know what I'm saying? Like older people, like 25 and up, 26 and up, 27 and up, even older, like more so in their 30s. But it's because like we can still have these conversations. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different with the younger generation coming up, in my opinion, from what I've seen. You know, in my experience. So, but yeah.
I think it all kind of, for me, it all spurs in, because I don't have any kids. I'm looking at that aspect like, eventually, I'm going to have a daughter.
Different. Yeah, that shit different.
So it's like,
ooh, that shit different.
I haven't done, you know, like even just simple things like to do hair and to do simple things. It's like
that you realize are like really important everyday things.
And I feel like, well, I've always looked at it as like a competitive thing. Like I want to be the best at it. Yeah. I want to be the best dad ever. Yeah. To be honest, or the best husband ever, or best anything. Because I just feel like, for me personally, I've always envisioned a family as like the biggest goal of mine. Like
that should be the ultimate goal.
Yeah. I don't see how. Like at some point in time, I always looked at job or work as that's gonna be done. I mean, that's gonna be taken care of because that's just how the society is. You gotta operate that way. I mean, if I could do it differently, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll be out there on the island just living off the land. Yeah. I honestly do feel like, I mean, at one point in time, I was like, man, because I started thinking of like shit like insurance and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't want to pay this. I really don't. Like honestly, like, because I think about car insurance, because I pay it like every 6 months. And I'm like,
so you pay that $600-$700 every 6 months?
I don't pay like $400 something.
$400 for 6 months?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna just close this information. My shit is way higher than that. Way higher than that. And you a USA?
Yeah.
I'm USA too. Shit.
But it's like, I'm paying this money for X amount of years. What am I seeing out of it?
If your car gets fucked up.
That's
just insurance.
I get that, but it's like,
it's just insurance.
I want that money back if nothing happens for X amount of time. I want some incentive or something.
I feel like I was talking to somebody about this about a year ago, and I said, in my opinion, this is how insurance companies should roll, like, and to benefit the insured, like us. So I pay a premium every month, right? So after that year, for example, we'll just use car insurance. After that year, if I got no accidents, I didn't have to use my insurance, that money rolls over to the next year. That's the incentive. It's like, okay, you got to pay for it, don't get me wrong, but I've paid, if you pay anywhere between, I don't know, $400 to $700 every 6 months. That's what, about $1,000 to $1,400 a year, right? So like, if your car gets fucked up, these insurance companies have like partnerships and deals with so many of these different places, right? Like, so they're not even paying full price anyway. Right. That's why you're able to pay a deductible, because they take care of the majority of it, but you're paying a deductible. You're
an expert here.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, you're paying a deductible. Like, why? Like, okay, like, I have insurance, blah blah, and I'm only paying what, $250 if I get in a wreck or if it's my fault, whatever. But it costs $3,000 to get fixed. Yeah. You think the insurance company's really coming out of pocket $3,000? No, and they got a million other people paying that same premium that we're paying that don't get in any accidents or whatever the case may be.
That's how they collect money.
That's how they collect the money. So it's like, in that case, if I don't get in any accidents, my shit should roll over. I don't need you to refund me the money back. I just don't want to have to pay for that shit. Now, if I get into an accident, now, say for example, within that year or whatever, I get into an accident, you'll have to pay for whatever. Then it starts over. Then like the next year, I got to pay that next year. My insurance every month. But then like shit, if that year passes, I don't get in an accident or anything, that shit rolls over. Now so basically I'm getting a year that I don't have to pay for insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then if something does happen, I've already paid for it that previous year, and then I'll have to start paying again the next year. Like I feel like now I don't know the legalities of it and all the details.
You know
like,
why they made it a law for it to do that, so they can just get money off of people.
Bro, like that shit. Cause bro, think about it. I live in Texas, so I know. You only have to have at least liability insurance. So you could get liability insurance for like maybe $25, between $25 to $75 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I have liability insurance, basically all you're doing is paying for whoever's car I got fucked up if I get in an accident, just so I'm not liable forever. So if I'm only paying $75 a month and I get in an accident, yeah, I gotta take care of my shit, which would be crazy high. But say their shit's total, you gotta take care of that. My insurance company gotta take care of that. You taking care of their whole total car off my $75 a month? You know what I'm saying? Realistic, they're not. Like, so where's this money coming? How are they do that? Like, they're getting so much, man, insurance companies, bro, don't even talk about the medical shit. The medical shit pissed me off. I've been in medical debt. Well, I just got out of medical debt, shit. So, that insurance shit. But yeah, bro, that whole growing up being an adult shit, my parents used to say, all right, when you get old, you'll see this. I was like, God damn, like, this budget stuff is actually real. But then, at what point do you just enjoy your life, too? Because it's like, I feel like I lost, like, between 20 to about 24, I lost a lot of time just focusing on working and making money, working and making money, working and making money. I ain't got none of that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, money come, money go. Like, that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to find a way to be able to, obviously, budget, bring in revenue and all that. But at some point, like, money comes and money goes regardless of how much you make. You got to enjoy the time you have. And that's what I've been having to, like, really focus on. Like, shit, I hope nobody's watching this from where I'm at, but, I'm sick right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sick right now. I'm on sick time, like, but I've earned that time, so I'm going to use that time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't got a reason for it to build up to like 100-something hours. I'm going to use it while I can, because if I get a call from a job that's going to pay me double what I'm making now, I'm moving on to that job, right? So I lose all that time that I just accumulated. So I'm using that shit, man. Y'all got me fucked up. 40 hours a week, and I ain't about to, man, sometimes more than 40 hours a week. That's why I say you gotta get something, you gotta find something you love to do, because if not, it's terrible. I love what I do now, I still don't like it sometimes. Yeah. So, man, I was just gonna ask you a question, I forgot. God damn, my ass started talking. What's good, Leo? Damn.
No, we went on a little tangent.
Yeah, I went on a little tangent, my bad. That's part of this podcasting thing, right?
Yeah.
That's part of this. I can't believe this is the first time we get on a podcast. I've been here so many times. He wouldn't let me get on a podcast. He wouldn't let me get in the studio. This nigga just keeping this shit to himself. I was like, hey, bro, we should do that. He's like, all right. And I just would never hear anything. It's your software. You got to initiate it. Like, what you mean? He's like, then today I was like, let's do a podcast. He's like, you serious about the podcast? Yeah. Now he gets everything breezy in here. See how easy this could have been? This could have been so much earlier.
Check me out, though. So some years ago, as far as the music aspect of it all, right? So he came to me one day. He sent me like a song or something that he did himself.
2016?
Yeah, and then he got me roped into this as well. Where I was actually writing, I ain't gonna call it lyrics. I was writing shit to songs, right? To beats. And one day it just hit me. I said, let me just listen to this. And I just listened to it. I said, the fuck is this bullshit? Like, what? Like, why am I out here?
Man, that is.
And it's just like, nah, brother, I can't do this no more.
Man, that's funny, bro. But you know what I'm saying, man? All athletes want to be rappers. Rappers want to be athletes. That's why. It's just for the culture, bro. That's all.
I mean, yeah, it would be nice to be able to flow with a nice beat, but it ain't for me.
Yeah. I like writing poetry, though, so I feel like I can't rap, but I might as well try. Just do it just because it's just fun. Why not? Shit, why not?
Why don't you give us something then, huh? On the spot.
You got a beat?
I don't got a beat.
No, I can't do that, man. I might have to do that for y'all. I gotta give me like 2, 3, 4, maybe 10 minutes, and let me think of some stuff while we're talking, and then I'm gonna just randomly start spitting. You'd be like, God damn, this nigga
Yeah,
got
you
this
gonna be
song."
saying goddamn, alright.
I'd be like, God damn, this shit suck. Nah, I think that, and that's the problem. Like, I have like an addictive personality, so once I get started, I start. Don't let somebody say it sound decent. Might as well. Oh, for real? Hell yeah, let's go. I made like a whole. Remember you? This is a while ago. It's like 27, just before Aiden was born.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is crazy. Before my son was born in 2017, I started. That's when I really started like doing the whole like little rap thing or whatever, trying to. So I would go in my daughter's closet. Swear to every night. I was like, I need a booth. You know what I'm saying? So I bought a mic. I put the mic through the little through the coat rack thing where it hangs. I had the mic hanging down right here. It was just some busted ass $10 mic, nothing crazy. And I would go in there I had a little software downloaded on my computer. And I would go in there every night and record a song every single night. Man, my lady would be like, "Nigga, what the fuck are you doing?" Because she would. I tried to do it in the living room, but you know it's too loud, whatever. So I'd be like, Brooklyn in her room, like, all right, I'm about to go in this closet. Closed the door of the closet, felt like a real booth, and I went in there and did a whole little mixtape. It's on my email. Yeah, that's one of the lost tapes that probably will remain lost forever.
Yeah, throw that shit away.
I'll never forget the time I was doing that shit, and then Brooklyn woke up and opened the door and said, "Daddy, what are you doing in my closet?" And I was like, "Daddy's doing something." And she was like, "Can you stop making that noise?" I was like, "Shit, get your ass back to sleep. It's grown people business." But yeah, it's just, you gotta find something you like to do, man. Little small hobbies on the side and stuff. Shit, I would play Pokemon like I used to, but I just don't have time. Like, I'm too serious about that. My ass will be calling you every 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we, which one were we playing?
Omega Ruby?
Yeah, we got Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
And we was trying to get, oh my God, bro. That makes me so mad thinking about that, losing my shit in China.
Yeah.
And then you was like, "Hey, you know the dude that whoever has your game is online." Oh shit!
You said he changed everything. I was like, "Oh shit!"
I was
he
like,
wastes no time.
I was like, "That's crazy, bro."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then like we got, cause that's one like right after that. What had came out? I think it was X and Y. X and Y came out, and that's when I started to get into the whole competitive aspect. I started breeding. And
yeah, you the one that got me.
Yeah, I was really into it, and it was fun. It was fun to actually compete, you know, battle other people, and especially when I battle him, it was.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I never beat you, did I? And this would trip me. I know we're talking about Pokemon. I feel super old, but every time I would play him, he'd have a whole new set of 6 Pokemon. And I'm sitting here like, damn, nigga. I
just want to try something on you.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's switching this shit up. I'm thinking like, okay, this is his 6. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do this, and this for each of these Pokemon. And then he has 6 new ones. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, you have like, how many PCs do you have full of battle-worthy Pokemon? Like, I was kind of.
I was going hard.
But I was still call this man. I was working a security job too, so I really wasn't doing shit.
Mm-hmm. It makes me go back to freshman year when we was on the buses to go into games.
Yeah.
I would have my Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I still got some pictures of, you know, Facebook or maybe even MySpace. I think it's MySpace.
What the
and
fuck?
it's just me with my Game Boy Advance in my hand, just sleep. I think I was playing Yellow at the time. So bro, yeah, I was about it.
MySpace, that's crazy. I wanna know how many people that are gonna listen to this had MySpace. Probably majority of them.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say because people are generally about my age.
MySpace, that's crazy to think like the evolution of, you know, I actually, speaking of fucking that social media, bro, you know YouTube was sold for like $2 or $3 billion. They sold it to Google or something like that. Bro, you know YouTube's worth like $170 billion now? YouTube.
I'd say that's kind of cheap. $2 billion.
Exactly. It's back, but this was back in like 05.
Yeah.
So think about 05, 06, and then Google had the vision to be like, okay, we're gonna buy this shit for, because that's a lot of money at that time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, anytime, you know, 2-3 billion, whatever. Yeah. But to think they sold it, thought that was good, like that's it, and now it's worth $170 something billion. That shit's insane, bro. That's insane, but I think about it, it's true, bro. I don't never go a day without getting on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's never a day I go without getting on
It's just so easily accessible. It's basically like Google. Just Google some shit in there.
That's
Type
crazy.
something in there, you'll find it. Or
Yeah.
if you want to learn how to do something,
Yeah.
YouTube it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how much money are people really like? Because if Google is worth, because you think people get paid crazy amounts of money for like their likes and views, whatever, on their subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a dude that he makes like, he gets paid like $50,000 or something. I want to say, I don't know if they're paying him $50,000 a year. He gets about $50,000. I can't remember if it was a year or however many months for his channel that he has. And I'm like, whoa. If they could pay you $50,000, there has to be more people that they're doing this with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just hit me. It was probably about 8-9 months ago. I was thinking about
So you
that.
just strictly just do YouTube.
Just
and
YouTube.
Have a living off that.
Yeah, I wish I had that type of personality where I could like invest like the time. And my mind goes too many
Yeah.
different places. I don't even know if I probably sat down and committed to that. But that's crazy. Like social media, motherfucker. That's crazy. How long have we been on this? Huh?
I ain't gonna tell you, it's just been a good minute.
Oh,
But
this really did just turn the conversation. I wish like we could talk to people that are watching it right now.
yeah, that's why I experimented with it like on Instagram, did like a live, and it's kind of cool to have people ask questions
And be able to respond. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bro. I definitely want to do that.
That's why it's always good to have like guests or a good number amount of people on, like I say, a podcast where you get different opinions, you speak on it, and then that's when that shit just lasts like forever and a day.
Because now I think about shit, that's all I listen to now is podcasts, sports talk shows, but really podcasts. And it's just because you just hear different perspectives, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff I listen to is like sports related, but I've been kind of venturing out to other types of platforms or other other stuff. But
That's really all I like to listen to for the most part when I'm driving. I like to listen to podcasts.
that shit make time go by fast. This little 5-hour ride up here just feel like nothing. You listen to about 2 or 3 podcasts per hour.
Yeah.
You are basically there. I don't even want to listen to nothing for the rest of the ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you good.
And you just listen to music in the gym. It's like it saves music for a special time.
Yeah. Cause I can't. I'm not gonna lie to you. On a long ride, I can't listen to music the whole way through.
Nah, that shit gets you
Not
sleepy.
anymore. Yeah, it makes me sleep. I have to like switch it up,
Mm-hmm.
transition or something. Cause if I'm just listening to music, I go to the zone. And I already fall asleep on the road anyway.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I actually got a question for you, man. So all right, so you don't have kids yet. Obviously, as I said before, I have 2. So like, what would you prefer to have first, a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Why?
I want a daddy's girl.
So you think, but you'd rather have a girl 1st?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you feel about, and this came up with my job. If nobody from my job probably see this, but how do you feel about if you have one son? Actually, no. I'm not even gonna say one son. Don't matter how many sons you have. You prideful in your name, right? It's like I feel like as a man, well, I know for me, like I want to have more sons or more kids. Specifically, I want to have at least 4 kids. I'm halfway there, but I want to at least have one more boy because I want my name to be passed down.
Yeah.
So, how would you feel if your son said, "Dad, I'm gonna take my wife's last name"?
That's what you choose to do.
You wouldn't have no issue with that?
No, it's his life. I can't just sit there.
No, I know that, but that wouldn't bother you in a way?
No, I mean, like, I would ask why. I mean, I would just want to, get the general. Even if, say a woman wanted to keep her last name, I wouldn't have
So if your wife wanted to keep her last name?
I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Bro, you know what? I thought I was open-minded. You a good dude, bro. Fuck that, nigga. Y'all hear me? Fuck that. My wife taking my last name. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm shocked. I'm glad I asked you that. I'm shocked that you said that.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, now granted, I do agree with my son. If it's his life, he does what he chooses to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's not about what I like or not. It's about his life. So, but I know personally, I'd be like, I wouldn't call him a bitch, but I'd be like, like, what's your problem, nigga? Like, yo, like, you know, like, it's like, cause I feel like, cause especially, I just think, and I'm just old school. Maybe I'm just old school in that regard, but it's like that's part of the joining of one for us to have the last name. Like, I think that's really important. Like, because if not, like, I mean, it's different. Maybe like if you're like for like a Gabrielle Union Wade or like, you know, stuff like that where they're like prominent figures already and they don't completely change their last name. They hyphenate it or whatever the case may be. That's complete. I could understand that. So it's more so situational. But like, if my son was like, I'm gonna take my wife's last name, I would feel some kind of way about that.
I'm sure a lot of
I would just feel some kind of way about that. Like I almost feel as if, oh man, that's about to go into a whole different conversation about women. And this, please, I don't mean to offend any women when we talk about this, but like, I almost feel like it's like his nuts getting taken from him. You know what I mean? I know that's a terrible way to look at it. I'm not sitting here saying I'm right or saying my opinion, like how I view it, like, because like part like, yo, that you're a man. Like, I don't even know. I wonder when that even started happening. When women started like telling their husbands or saying, I'm keeping my last name. You need to take my last name. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you need to take my last name.
Yeah, like that, because that's.
See, the way I see it is, you see how prideful you are of your last name?
Uh-huh.
A woman could be the same thing, same pride. And you don't necessarily have to be a celebrity to want to keep that. So my only thing is, when you have kids with the person, how would you go about doing it? Doing the hyphen, or that would be definitely a conversation.
That's where that falls. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, no, I just, you know, like, I want my children to have my last name. Like, that's a I feel like that's a big deal. Like, you know, and granted, it may seem like it's not. That's a big deal, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, your kids, like, I'd be damned if my kids didn't have my last name.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I remember going through, you know, whatever, first time around. It's like, it's okay. I have my last name. I'm not signing paperwork. Like, and that sounds fucked up.
No, I can understand.
I'm not signing paperwork. Like, that's my child. They're gonna have my last name. It's different. There's already plenty of kids that are born and their fathers are in their lives and they get their mom's last name because their father's not around. But like, I'm their dad. I'm gonna be around. I'm here to stay. They're gonna have my last. That's just more traditional thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't know, because I've just seen, like, recently I've seen more women say, like, I have a couple dudes that I know that, like, told me, like, yeah, I'm probably going to take my wife's last name because I don't want to deal with blah, blah, blah. And I was, like, more so, like, and I think...
When you say take it, you mean as in he getting rid of his last name and getting hers?
Yes, not hyphenating it. He's getting rid of his and taking hers. So, like, it's one thing. So, say, like, maybe I can understand if, say she comes from a family of 3-4 girls.
I feel like that's not it's really not that much of a big deal compared to like. You
see my face? Nigga like, damn, this nigga serious. Like, nigga.
Yeah, for one, I take pride in my last. Like, I remember one time my dad ended up asking me like, "What's the thing you're most proud of?" And I said my last name because just to symbolize. My last name is Jackson, if you don't know. I honestly think it's the greatest last name there is. Simply, it's like, not because of, like, say, Michael Jackson or anybody else with the last name. It's just how it sounds, the wordplay you can have with it, and it's not too long, it's not too short. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds amazing. Jackson. Like honestly, if my last name wasn't Jackson, I would want to name
like Jackson.
My child
Jackson.
Yeah, that's just how strongly I feel about it.
Okay. So you want your kids to have your last name?
Yeah, I would love
You want your wife to have your last name? That's the thing I'm saying. Like, as like how you just described that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then traditionally, like, you're the man. I'm not trying to get religious on this either, but like, man, woman, y'all join together, but man is head of household, whatever case may be. Like, that's part of that to me.
In my ways, I feel like the old traditional ways of how a household was built or whatnot is still there, but people are more open to other things as far as why the man got to be here and the woman got to be here. Why can't we just be here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because you are still joined together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
It's like the mentality.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. I mean, but it's.
I just feel like in some ways it's like, you know how women have been oppressed and whatnot. So it's like a lot of those things can make a woman feel a certain way. So that's how me having conversations with women where I've noticed these things. I didn't even, I would have never known that because it's like it's been normalized. So therefore, I pay attention to those things.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. It just makes me wonder, like, so at what point? So now, how do I explain that? I used to. I feel like I'm saying some fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's part of the conversation.
Yeah,
though,
so
like,
it's like this, like, women fall, like, which I agree, we are equal. I 100% agree with that. I believe women should have the same opportunities that men have and all that. I'm not saying this to demean women in any way, but like, I agree with you until you have those issues where it's like a woman wants to say, I'm a strong woman, I'm this, I'm that, we're equal, whatever it case be, great. But then if it's like, babe, can you take the trash out real quick?
You know what's crazy? We was just talking about this shit the other day while we was on. Well, I'm not gonna disclose any names or anything like that, but just like, you know, like there's some people out there in the world that like to promote that they're feminists and yada yada this and yada yada that, but then the other flip side of it is like, I still need help.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And
that's the part that, like, it's hard to, because we all do need, you know, we all do need help, and women do, like, and men do have, like, I feel like there is a level of where men do get privileges as far as like in the workplace and stuff like that, certain positions. I do think that is something that is concerning. I think that is true, but like there are other times throughout society where women get privileges as well. Majority, because men too, like, are like, you see a beautiful woman or a woman and they feel like, oh yeah, I'll do this for you. They're more prone to do that for a female or help a woman out because they are, I guess, a woman. You know what I'm saying? But like, back to this trash thing. If you tell me you're this and this and that, and I say, babe, can you take the trash out real quick? No, that's not my job. You the man. You take the trash out. Y'all fought for equal rights for how long? And you go tell me you can't take the trash out? I'm not saying it because I'm trying to get you or demand you to do it, but we're equal, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you flaunt or you say, if you promote, maybe it's just the way you go about it as a woman. Everybody's different, you know what I mean? Like, but like,
trust me, I know your frustration.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like, yo, like, cause then you get to, and I'm not taking this to just relationships, because it happens in friendships and all of that. But when you get to the dynamics mainly like where men and women really have to work together, like really in depth or deep, is when in relationships. Yeah. And in like within those relationships, it's like if you, any woman, black, white, Mexican, whatever it is, if they, you know, promote like, you know, oh, I'm a strong woman, I'm this, I'm that, which you are. I'm not taking that from you. But then like, what happens when like the man may need that comfort? Or like whatever case may be. Like, say for example, I comfort you when you're down and stuff like that, right? But when I need that comfort, then it's like, you're a man, you're supposed to be able to be tough. And so that's where it's like you have to, I think both parties have to understand the dynamics of both of that, because but in society, like, we are men.
You in your bag now.
We are men, so we're looked at as, like, I look at it this way, like, regardless, I don't care what, look, well, I do care. Sorry, I'm not gonna say that. But think about this: like, if I'm the head of the household, I'm the husband of the house, I'm the man of my house, whatever the case may be, and something goes wrong with my family, whether it's we go down the shitter financially, we're hurt in some way. I don't think if something goes wrong, on the outside looking in, that is looked upon. The man has to take care of that.
Yeah.
The man isn't doing what he's supposed to do for his household. You know what I mean? It's not looked at as, oh, the woman's not doing this or the woman's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's a level of, I feel like when you have some women that, you know, say they're this and they're that, they're stronger, whatever the case may be, there's a level of understanding that there's a level of responsibility that comes with being like that figure in that relationship or family or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
And like, so, and that's where it's like, how do you, because in reality, we all women are more emotional creatures, but we all are emotional creatures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we all go through things. Men go through things that women don't go through. Women go through things that men don't go through. But like, how do you come together to understand like each other or certain dynamics throughout those like relationships and stuff like that? Because like shit, why you sitting here, man?
The way I look at it, like, because I've kind of adapted a new mindset, not new, but like I've been thinking this for like a good amount of time. Like, as far as a woman, I'm not gonna look at a woman saying you need to be able to do X, Y, and Z, like the normal things, like
exactly,
yeah, how it says, like cook,
yeah, exactly.
I would never sit there and say, you know, you gotta, you know, it's not in me to say, well, that's your role, or just to say you need to do this or that, or so I wouldn't expect the woman to sit here and say like to do like the so-called manly things, right? As far as like cutting the grass and stuff like that. But I'm gonna do that because, for one, I'm a giving person. If I'm in a relationship with you, I'm gonna want to do these things regardless.
Yeah,
but on the flip side, it was like, if it was expected out of me, like I would feel away. Like if a woman said like it's just okay. But it's like, say a woman was like, you're a man, because we get that a lot as far as like as men we're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, and it's kind of, it puts a lot more pressure on us too, and in a way that's why I feel like a lot of men just withhold information. They don't speak, they don't talk, they don't communicate well, because we just hold that information in because, for one, we feel like it won't be received well. They just like, well, like, you ain't shit, you ain't a man, you know, it's just things like that that and for anybody in general that does, you know, goes out and say that to another man, or a woman saying it to a man, or a man saying it to a woman, like saying you're not a woman, you're not a man, bro. That's fighting words. But honestly, I do want to understand, like,
I didn't expect
yes, no, like, I do understand, like, we are adults. Yes, we should conduct ourselves like adults. But if you say some disrespectful shit to anybody, you should know what the consequences are to that. Like, you can't just sit here. Yes, it's freedom of speech, right? I just like, people need to understand that, because people just get reckless.
I can say whatever I want.
Yeah,
it's
like,
true. You technically you can, but there's still consequences for it.
There's ramifications for it.
Exactly.
Like, I just want people to understand that, like, if you do choose to just talk ill of somebody, like, just know you can get punished. Yeah. Like, there's no, like, I like, even you can look at any aspect of, like, say work, someone disrespects you at work. How you gonna deal with that? You know, originally you just want to talk to them, but what if they continue to be disrespectful? Like, in what way do you want to call the police?
Yeah, no, you have it over.
Like, it's like, I'm coming to you as a human being. I don't like this. You continue to do that. Obviously, you didn't learn from me saying it to you that obviously you need to be put hands on you. Yeah. Nah. I don't even know why. I just that.
There was fighting words, but it's funny. I'm gonna go back to what you said about like almost like saying these are women things to do and these are man things to do, and obviously that's more of like a relationship type thing, right? And I do have this belief that, like, when you are in a relationship, marriage, whatever, we both can't have a bad day. say you're down, right? You're having a bad day, or say, or for example, I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm having a bad day. I need her, even if she's having a bad day, I need her to uplift me, and vice versa. She's going through something. All right, whatever the hell I'm going through, I need to put that shit aside to make sure we good. It's like we both can't have a bad day. Does that make sense? It's like to be able to balance each other out, to be able to keep each other up. Like so, like that's why you can't say, oh, as a woman, you have. I'm not gonna tell my wife like, oh, you have to cook or you have to do this or you have to do that.
That's wild to me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, shit. I mean, one day, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be mad about it. I come home and you cook. I'm be like, shit, thank you, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'll be happy about that. But say that day where you're not feeling it, like, babe, look, go in the room, watch TV, do whatever you gotta do. I got everything. I'll take care of the kids. I got the food. You know what I'm saying? Just go relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you. Like, that's where, like, we both have to be able to do that for one another. You know what I mean? Like, now granted, there are some things naturally, like, that men do or supposed to do, or that women kind of tend to do more so than men do, but it's not like, it's not something where it's like, oh, you're not a woman if you don't do this. You're not a man if you don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, we do all play different roles in each other's lives too, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't like, I mean, I've been here, whether it's at work or like with friendships, motherfuckers been like, oh, well, I talk to females all the time, and they're like, well, I'm this or I'm that, and it's like, I want you to be a strong black woman. I appreciate you that. But, like, don't try to take my nuts too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yo, like, they're like, you still gotta make your man feel like a man. You feel me? Like, there's still like a strong woman, there's a, what is that saying? Like, there's a strong woman behind every man or something like that. Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that, but it's like the same thing, like where it's saying like it's a man, therefore there's a strong woman behind. You know what I'm saying? It's like in a way.
There's a good person behind every good person.
Well, no, it's just like you're putting a man. Let me whether he's a good man or something because a strong woman's behind him or something like that, or just like the other viewpoint of it, like the like being a strong woman, there's a man behind her. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't know. Yeah, it just a little shaky how you know today's society is and whatnot, and yeah.
Man, you know what?
We gotta wrap up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say this was about to have me. I was about to go into this whole
deep dive.
I was about to dive into that whole shit we was talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, let me let the people know. You know?
That's why when I do stuff like podcasts, I be like, I try to not make things like too personalized.
Yeah.
Because then you just go in there just spewing, and I feel like for men to come on like a podcast and just speak, like when I first started doing it, it made a world of a difference.
Yeah.
Because I felt so much better just going on here and just talking about how I feel about certain things, and then even over time you get to see how you've learned and how you've grown over just speaking, just talking, and it just helps your communication better as well too. So
yeah, I think, you know.
And one thing I need to add is because Astra told me this is right. As far as saying female by itself, I'm not saying she necessarily says that it's a bad terminology and whatnot to use the word female. It has like a negative vibe to it, just saying the word female. I didn't understand that, so I asked her questions, but I do understand how it can be perceived as such. But to me, honestly, female sounds so much better than a woman. And just know that when we say female or anything, we're not trying to demean or put down when we say that, because I wasn't aware of that until she told me that it could be viewed as like that. But
yeah, I think I can see that. I've heard that before. Only thing is, I think female crosses the board of all age groups as well. Yeah. Female just says female, so you know exactly what you're talking about. Because you have some people that will be more critical if you're like, oh, these girls, and you're like, oh no, we're grown women, or you're talking about women, or you're talking about kids. You know what I mean? So like when you say female, it eliminates that. You know, so I don't necessarily. I agree with you. I don't think it's like I don't think it's a bad thing, but I can understand where it's like can have that negative connotation. Like, so
that's why I usually use. I usually use like female, young lady.
Yeah. I think lady. Oh man, I don't like lady for some reason. I don't like lady. I feel like you have to have something before that, like beautiful young lady, or it has to be some. I can't just say lady, like that lady over there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That
like,
sounds crazy.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. Like it has to be something like. It can't just be that. That's. You know what? That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I do have to cut it short because I got a private lesson.
Yeah, this man about to go
with a 4-year-old, and I feel like I am robbing.
I got a question
robbing the parents.
How do y'all feel about this? A 4-year-old training. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad thing, but are you gonna pay $30 for an hour session for somebody to train your kid in basketball? Your 4-year-old can barely walk. I mean, he can walk, but when they run, they trip. For those of y'all that don't have kids, 4 is an amazing, age, but like 4-year-olds, like half the shit you're putting them into, they're not really like getting. Now maybe like gymnastics, something that's a little bit more controlled, but the fact that kids like just naturally, even like taking an object, which is a basketball, and having to bounce it or shoot it or pass it or catch it, those are all things that they're not able to do yet.
You're right. It's gonna be frustrating.
So, hey, bro.
I mean, like,
that's
they reached out to me and asked, and I said,
"Why not?
I'm here to help with it. So it is what it is.
No problem."
And I think that just these kids in general have like this their last week this Saturday of games. A lot of them are gonna say they're gonna go into an intermediate level, or like they're gonna rev up the competition. And a lot of them go.
Rev up what competition?
Instead of playing in like the Y, it's something. I don't think it's still. It is geared within the Y, but it's like I don't know. It's just more competitive teams and whatnot, and a lot of them are for a rude awakening because they think that they're playing these kids in the Y like they're.
Are they dominating the Y?
No.
All right. If you don't,
they like the one team. They won every single game, and they got a big hit. I'm like, I want to be a fly on the wall and see when y'all run into one of these teams that can actually play, because, especially because these kids in general that I'm talking about to be in middle school, and it's like, I just want a whole weekend with them just to like
middle school.
Teach and guide them in the right direction.
See, that much just be out here. There are a lot of kids like out in Texas that are in middle school that can play or going in that level. I think about it all the time. Like, man, I remember when we was that age, we didn't have all the moves that they had.
No,
because we didn't have the same training type stuff. But like as far as like, I thought we played maybe a little harder actually. Played harder, played more. Well, I mean now they play a lot of AAU.
Yeah.
All that.
They got a lot more access than we did as far as playing and.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, we had YouTube, but it was still on dial-up.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
That's it's crazy. I was talking to when I tell you about the sophomore.
Yeah.
I was telling that too. Like, y'all got so much more access to stuff. Like, we did have it back then. It's just that it's so ready available for you, and there's so much more content on it now that you can literally learn shit at home instead of being in the gym. Like where you can't get on the court because kids have practice, so it's like you can learn some shit.
Bro, like, they don't understand the access, like just the access of it. Like, the iPhone didn't come out until we was like a sophomore in high school. The iPhone, right? Now obviously you have the iPhone 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, think about the fact that I can be on my phone at the gym watching what I need to be working on right now. Before we'd have to go home, make sure our parents aren't on the computer doing something for work or whatever. Then maybe have an hour on there to do what? Look up. You know what I'm saying? Really, the only thing we watched was like TV. It wasn't like we didn't have the access to seeing like the trainers and all that good stuff. Now, shit, they even take advantage of that.
That's what I'm gonna start doing with my YouTube as well. Where like this past Sunday, I was in the gym just recording like stuff I like to do to warm up. And it is kind of hard when you just you have it by yourself where you can't just it'll look so much better if someone's recording you doing this stuff, like as far as like dribbling stuff.
We should do that today.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
I go cool.
And so I recorded all the stuff that's in my phone. I was gonna make a little video, and I'm like, but it's missing something. So I was like, and it's missing like the whole different angles and stuff. Yeah, and just be on the lookout for that, because I feel like that's just like another avenue to just express my ability. That's the male. Layla. It just expressed, my ability to want to just teach the game of basketball. I've been around it my whole life, so yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I gotta roll out there in like 27 minutes, get there and whatnot. What was the point of even knocking and just having that? I thought it was like a package. That's usually the case. But we're gonna wrap it up, man.
All right, man. You know what? I was gonna say thank you for letting me get on the podcast, man. I know I was rambling on a lot, but
yeah.
What's good, people? Hey, we got to do another one, bro. This is my first one on the Legendary Action
podcast.
Legendary Action Jackson, whatever the hell it is. Wait, where'd you come up with the Legendary Action? Was it from 300?
When I came up with it, because obviously the Action Jackson part, 'cause that was my Instagram name before the Legendary Action. And
Instagram, check out Andre Never Lies.
And then my PSN from PlayStation was Mac Jack the Legend.
Mac Jack the Legend.
Yeah. If y'all don't know, my nickname back in high school was Daddy Mac Jack.
I was about to say Daddy Mac Jack, boy.
Yeah. But so I incorporated the legend aspect of it all, because I always feel like to be legendary is so amazing. You know what I'm saying?
RIP to GOAT.
Yeah.
Kobe Bean. RIP to GOAT.
Yeah, so that's where Legendary Action came
Legends
from.
never die, bro. Let's get off this podcast. All right, thank y'all so much for letting me on and listening.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming on here, viewing, and just listening. If you got any questions regarding anything, just hit the comment section and let us know what you think. All right, appreciate y'all. Deuces.